Let's get more now on Theresa May being accused of leaving former Prime Minister David Cameron to fight alone during the EU referendum. According to Mr Cameron's former Director of Communications, Sir Craig Oliver, Mrs May was asked 13 times to help fight her predecessor against Brexit. Well, we're joined now by David Cameron's former Chief of Staff, Alex Deane, and thanks so much for joining us tonight. And it's a fascinating insight into what happened behind the doors of Number 10 during the EU referendum campaign, isn't it?
Yeah, in my view, Theresa May did absolutely nothing wrong. The argument in Craig Oliver's book, and I appreciate he wants to sell some copies, but the argument seems to be that if you complied with everything that Number 10 wanted you to do, you were good, and if you didn't comply with everything that Number 10 wanted you to do, you were bad. Well, that's an absurd position to take in a free vote in which ministers are entitled to do as they think is right. And Theresa May, just like every other minister, did just that. She campaigned as she wished to campaign. And to state the obvious, it seemed that she was a not very keen Remainer. So she was a not very keen campaigner for Remain.
But do you think this is painting Theresa May in a bad light? I mean, he's just saying what he thought and Theresa May how she behaved, and potentially it could come across quite calculating. Isn't this something we should know of our new Prime Minister?
Oh no, I think these sorts of sour grapes don't reflect badly on Theresa May. They might reflect badly on other people, but I don't think they have anything to do with her performance then or now. She took the position that she deemed to be correct, and of course this was an issue that divided people, and naturally the Craig Olivers and David Camerons of this world, who wanted us to remain in the European Union, thought less of those people like me who wanted us to leave the European Union, but presumably people like Theresa May, who at least fell on their side of the fence, were kind of less bad in their book than I was. I mean, after all, Claudia Liza, there is an alternative to having a minister who doesn't do very much in your cause. It's having them, as 6 cabinet ministers did, campaign against you. And you'd better believe they were glad that she didn't campaign on the other side.
Well, you know David Cameron, how was he after that Brexit vote?
We haven't spoken since the vote, but I tell you, he conducted himself with great dignity, in my view, as he did beforehand. And the thing about our former Prime Minister is this: he may be right on some issues, he may be wrong on some issues, but he conducts himself, in my view, impeccably, both personally and professionally. So that's why, despite the fact I happen to agree with him on that issue, I thought he was a good Prime Minister and a good person. But equally, I think that Theresa May is someone who conducted herself with perfectly respectable, in a perfectly respectable way in the course of that referendum, and is now a very good Prime Minister. And without being too partisan about it, I mean, just look at the last piece you did about Labour, where they can't get their leader out from persistent accusations of anti-Semitism, and think to yourself, is the worst thing that is happening in the Tory party at the moment the suggestion that Theresa May might not have done everything that David Cameron wanted in the course of a referendum campaign? If so, which party would you rather be in?
OK, Alex Deane, former David Cameron's Chief of Staff, thanks so much.